It's Madison Kate on The Trend, and today I'm here at the 9 with Jason, who's the owner of Youthology Medspa, and we are going to talk about kind of what he does, injectables, and I might be getting some things done myself, so.
My name's Jason Rapika. I'm a medical doctor that I own Youthology Medspa. We started our med spa roughly about 5 years ago, and so I've been a full-time injector since about 2017. Youthology is based in regenerative aesthetic medicine, so we use mostly collagen-based products. They're called collagen biostimulators, but we also do, the full gamut of skin services, neurotoxins.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff, yeah. So we go from basic skincare all the way up to liposuction with fat transfer, and my approach to these cosmetic injectables is more subtle. It's more ongoing.
Buildable.
Gradual, correct. Like I like when girls build this into their beauty routine. Yes, it's a little bit more expensive, but you don't need to do it as often. And if you start a little earlier, kind of keep up with it, do subtle, minor things, then it's a little bit better than trying to play catch up later on down the road.
Okay, so I'll just jump into all the questions I have, and I'm sure that everybody else has too. First, just like you said, like buildable. So everyone's always like, oh, why are you getting injections? You're so young. And I'm like, okay, well, I want to keep my youth as long as I can in life. So how do you feel about age-wise or preventative care?
Right, well, the average age to start Botox in this country right now is about 23 and a half. So it has skewed down as, like if you're in your 20s, chances are you have a mother that's been doing this, whereas I'm 42, women my mom's age weren't really growing up doing injectables.
Right.
So the age does keep getting skewed down a little bit. But if you want to think about it from a cellular standpoint, our body stops making a lot of the elastin in our skin at the age of 2 months. It stops making a lot of the collagen around like 38 to 42. So, when you use these types of products and you're adding collagen and you're adding elastin and you're putting the things back in your skin that, that help it look youthful, then sure, the sooner the better.
Right, so everyone's like, do you really think doing like Botox early, even when you don't have lines, helps? You do believe that?
Yeah, because if you make these lines in your forehead, say, and you do this over, 30, 40 years, eventually it's going to crease your forehead, and now you have scars on your forehead.
Right.
So when you use a neurotoxin like Botox or Dysport, we're not affecting the skin, we're paralyzing the muscle behind it, so you can't make these lines.
Right.
But so if you're somebody that's very expressive and down the road, you'll see these people that have the lines across their forehead without even moving a muscle. And in that case, that's what I said, they're more scars and they're harder to get rid of.
Okay.
So if you can kind of keep yourself from doing that, if those are going to bother you, then sure, it's easier to start early, and then you don't get that skin damage.
Right. Okay, so then a lot of people portray injectables in some type of way, or they're always like, don't do that, you're already so pretty or something, you know what I mean? But it's just like to enhance your features, and I feel like it's very like stigmatized,
Correct. Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that are overdone, overfilled, over something.
Yeah.
That's what scares a lot of the, some patients away from that, but it doesn't have to be. You can, and if you play through like my Instagram or see like how doctors like myself inject, it's a lot of very subtle injection, areas, places to where you can leave today because I think we're going to inject you, and nobody would even know you got injected today.
Oh, really? So, yeah.
So it is pretty, injector dependent. Some injectors might, go about this more of a basic kind of way and augment your face in an area you don't want, and then yes, you would look overdone, and other people kind of can keep it more artistic, keep it a little bit more subtle. And
right.
So with my younger patients, obviously we're going to use less than like if you brought somebody that was like 55 or 60, and just because they need less. So I don't think it has to be stigmatized that way, because we can use little bits and make little small adjustments and little tweaks.
And I feel like it shouldn't be a bad stigma because it's so like if that's what makes you feel good, I'm all about empowering yourself and self-care and like.
Yeah, I think it is more, there is probably some vanity involved in this, but most of the time it's about self-confidence.
Right, like if you want to look in the mirror and look good and that's what makes you feel good, then don't talk shit.
Yeah, I do a lot of liquid rhinoplasties, and I do a lot of liquid rhinoplasties on kids that are very young because they're too young to have a plastic surgery, but they're getting made fun of in school.
Right.
Their parents bring them in, their moms, and we can correct something that they're getting, bullied on, and for a couple $100, it's not
right.
It's not crazy, and
that probably like changes some people's lives too. You know what I mean? Like if that's what makes you feel good and not get bullied, why wouldn't you?
Right.
You know?
Right, and that's what I mean. Like, and that's what's great about this like non-surgical injectable world is it is rapidly expanding to where there's all these different treatments and modalities and products that you can use to really kind of treat a lot of things outside of the operating room.
Right, which I think is cool too, because I was just asking him about fat transfers. Is there's like safer ways to do things or less invasive ways.
Correct.
Like it's so evolved, plastic surgery. And I was always thinking like to go through plastic surgeries and stuff, you have to get put under and have like anesthesia might not be good for your body so many times, or people say like, oh, it's unnecessary because it's cosmetic.
Right.
But I feel like what you told me, if you want to share that about how.
Yeah, well, we do the liposuction that we do in the fat grafting. We use something called tumescent lidocaine anesthesia, and so that means that we're going to infuse the anesthesia in the area that we're treating, which is great for patients because you're right, you don't have to go under general anesthesia. It takes that worry out of the realm of if you didn't want to do something because you didn't want to go in an operating room. Yes, there are a lot of surgeries that you have to do that for, like breast implants, tummy tucks, facelifts, but this injectable market has gotten so refined that we can simulate a lot of the things you might have had to have a surgery for several years ago, and we could do it in a facility that's not in a hospital operating room, which is cool.
And you don't have drainage pipes or whatever, tubes and stuff like that.
Right, and you have to take into account that the procedures that you could do in an office are generally less smaller, I guess, than what you might what you would do in an operating room. So sure, the downtime's less.
Right.
The recovery time's like quicker.
Okay, that's cool. And then also, what do you think now, it being like, obviously so many people get their lips done and stuff like that. What do you think is the most popular trend going on in injections or that comes into your office?
Yeah, I mean, they're probably still the number one, and they've been number one for like 2 years.
Yeah.
I think we've been averaging 65 to 70 girls' lips a week.
Really? That's
a year
crazy.
and a half, 2 years now.
But you could tell like slowly, like I got my lips done for the first time probably like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. No one's like, I'm not going to really say anything. And now I'm like, every client I have has something done,
Right,
so it's becoming so much more accepted, and thank God everybody should have a little bit of lip filler in their life.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, obviously lips are kind of my thing, and I do my lips, more shaping than lip filling. Yeah. Which is cool because you can do it and you can work on symmetry and you can work on that, and slowly over time, like they'll just become your lips. They don't have to, and I see that a lot when girls come in and like, oh, my husband's, so mad that I'm here, and
it's like such a thing to like hate on.
Yeah, and then when they come back the second time, they're like, oh, he loved the way it looked, and so I feel like, especially with guys, all they have in their head is like, these overfilled, like people you see on whatever, if you Google it.
It's like everything. They're like, why would you want to look like that? And I'm like, okay, they are like probably so overdone. Like it's not like that, Right.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier too. Like with my approach to injectables, it is more artistic and it is more subtle and ongoing. So you can do little bits, and nobody would really know you're doing anything, but you're just kind of, becoming a better version of yourself. And that's why we use mostly these products that are called collagen biostimulators, because a lot of them they're not like, if you want to think of a Juvederm or a Restylane, you inject that hyaluronic acid filler into your face and it pulls in water and it swells up, and that's what you were talking about earlier when you have like people that have like big, like big cheeks or something. Yeah. But those products reach their maximum size or potential after 2 weeks, and then they break down over 6 to 12 months.
Right.
These products, like I use mostly Bellafill and Sculptra in my practice, these products gradually get better over like a 2-year period, and then they break down over 5 to 10 years. So they work just completely different than that hyaluronic acid product. And so with these products, you can keep putting more and more and more in your face or your breast or your butt or hips or wherever we're treating.
Yeah.
And they'll just continue to make your skin more youthful and improve that area, but you won't get distorted.
Right. So do you use Sculptra for like hip dips?
Correct.
So I've been seeing like this year more so than ever that people like brought up hip dips.
Yeah,
Have
you know what's crazy? Like I've been doing Sculptra and Bellafill, like BBL treatments and hip dip treatments with these biostimulators for about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
And you're right, like before we were doing, one a month maybe, one every 2 weeks. Now I'm doing them every day.
Yeah.
And it's not because I just started doing them, it's because like I feel like that's hit the Midwest now or something, you know?
Right. I like all of a sudden saw like YouTubers in like California start posting like everyone wants the round hourglass figure.
Correct, yeah.
And I saw like hip dips become like a trend on Twitter, and I was like, oh my God, everyone's noticing, and now it bugs them. So
Yeah,
I'm
right.
gonna go get it done.
Yeah, and I think that happens with all of these kind of things. If you're somebody that hasn't had any injectables and you want to go and just try like a neurotoxin, a Botox, or a Dysport, and say we're gonna just do your forehead, then once you see that, wow, I like the way I look with the smooth forehead, then you start looking at other parts, then you start looking at other things.
I know everyone's like, maybe I'll try getting my lips done. And I'm like, all right, welcome to the lifelong journey of it, because once like something starts to, or even Botox, like, all of a sudden your lines start to come back and you're like, okay, hold on. Like I like it so much better that way. Yeah,
and the other thing too that I think you should talk to your followers about is, it's funny how girls have like their girl for hair, for nails, for lashes, and they'll follow their person, from different salons or different places, but they don't do that with this stuff, and it always blows my mind. Like I'll see girls that have, bounced around and gone here for Botox, here for Botox. There was a group on here, and then, and it's like, you should have like your person.
Oh, 100%. I would never switch.
That you go to, that knows you, that knows your face, that knows what you like, that knows how your skin reacts, that knows all of that.
Like if you're building a foundation, like you have to start somewhere, obviously, continue to do that. And I feel like so many people, I'm sure it's the same thing with you, but they even come in for their hair, and I'm like, okay, you want to be platinum tomorrow, but you have black hair. I mean, maybe if you've never done anything to it, but you don't know if they're going to be like, well, I hardly color it, but really their version of that is like, they do color it once a month or something. You know what I mean? So I feel like...
Yeah, because I get this question all the time, because obviously these products are expensive, and girls want to know, like, well, how long is this going to last? And to me, it's like, well, that really shouldn't matter, because I should see you between now and whenever it's going to last, and we should tweak it, or we should touch it up, or we should whatever. So I'll see people post things that are like, oh, my lips last 2 years, and it's like, well, to me, we should be like constantly, making it better, working on symmetry, working on whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, like when I inject patients now, and I have the luxury of, vetting people, because, like newer patients, and I make sure that they're going to come back, and we're not a one and done place where you come in and you buy 3 syringes of something and then I don't see you again. Like I'd rather, and that's why we have the camera system that I was showing you, that Vectra system, where I can track your skin changes, your UV damage, your volume changes, everything.
Right, so that's nice too for anybody that ever goes in and they're like, I don't see this difference. He literally has a 3D camera to show you the difference.
Correct.
So it's all like factual, it's not.
Yeah, and even with our my medical estheticians we have, like we can take a 3D image of your face, and it'll show the sun damage in your skin, the inflammation in your skin, and then we could say, give you like a medical chemical peel, and then repeat the images, and it'll show like what's gone.
It's crazy.
It is. It
just came a long way. That's for sure.
And so I try to run my Instagram like that in my office from more of an educational standpoint, because there is a lot, in this non-surgical aesthetic world, that it's more than just Botox and filler.
Right.
And that's where not a lot of injectors, especially around the Midwest, inject, full time.
Right.
You'll see a lot of people that, they offer Botox too, and it's like, well, this is a full-time job because it's very personal with the patient.
Right. What I think is true too is like a year ago, if I would say, or 2 years ago maybe, like you're going to a med spa, people would be like, oh, I wouldn't go, like if it's not a plastic surgeon.
Right.
But I looked at it almost as like, okay, but at med spas, that's what you're doing all day. You're like perfecting,
Correct.
like injectables,
Yep.
when you could be doing like, I don't know, boob jobs, bigger surgeries, you know what I mean?
Well, and you'll see too, I don't know, like if you want to talk about, somebody that has a practice, not necessarily a plastic surgeon, but just where they have a practice, whether they're a dentist or an OBGYN or a plastic surgeon or whatever, they're still practicing that office-based medicine.
Right.
And then, if you're just doing injectables on top of that, you're not gonna get those 70 girls per week lips.
Right.
There's just not enough time for them. So sure, the more you do something, the better and better and better you get at it.
Right.
And that's kind of what happened with us. I was doing, injectables here or there, and then I started to realize, hey, I'm pretty good at this. And then, my wife and I sat down, and it's like, well, what are we gonna do? Because I feel like you need to go all in.
Oh, for
if
sure.
If you're gonna allow patients to trust you with their faces or with their bodies.
Right.
And these products are different than getting like bad lashes put on.
Right.
Because they are a little bit more invasive. They are a little bit longer lasting, and
Right.
and like I said, they are more expensive. So you want to make sure that you can trust whoever's.
Oh, 100%. My thing too is like how you said, like you should stick to somebody. I will never understand the people that go to get something done. Like you're doing something to your body, to your face, and you're going to whoever, or when you see like botched things like, what was 1,000 less here? Well, like there's a reason for that.
Yeah. And you were talking, and lips are the best example. Like my lip technique is very refined, and I don't use a lot of product because I put my lip filler at a certain layer and certain level in your tissue that I know when you come back, I'm gonna go between that layer, and I'm gonna go like between those two layers the next time. And I can layer my filler like that so that over time, your result just is your lips. Like I've built your tissue up. I inject with a style called skin boosting, which is where I put the filler at a level of your tissue where it stimulates your fibroblasts to actually make collagen, more tissue. So even if filler lasts, say, a year, like your results will last infinitely longer. Like I don't really inject my wife's lips anymore because we've just sort of built them up to a point where now these are her lips. And it's hard, like if I did your lips and then you went somewhere else and got them done, and then you went somewhere else, got them done, like we all don't use the same we're all using the same product, but we don't inject with the same style, with the same technique. And yeah, you can get things looking sloppy really quick if you're not careful.
Stick with your injectors, people. I don't know, understand that.
Yeah.
I also like that a lot of places you go to will be like, okay, you want your lips done. Are you getting a full syringe or half syringe? Let me know.
Yeah.
And that is like, some people don't, they need less or more or whatever. Yeah. So I like how you do your style.
Yeah, so like I was saying earlier, I have more of an artistic approach to this. And I don't believe that the product that goes in your lips is also the same product that necessarily needs to go in your cheek or in your chin or in your jaw or wherever. So I charge by what I use. Yeah. And so if you came in, you and I would talk about like what's bothering you. I'll give you advice on what I'm seeing. We'll take your pictures with the 3D camera system and we'll go through those together. But then like if I inject you, I might use like 3 or 4 or 5 different products, but you just have to pay for how much of each of those I use. So if I use 20% of this and 30% of this, or, but I'll always stay within your budget. So that's how most of my patients, like when they come in, they're like, hey, Dr. Rapika, I have like $700-800 today. And we'll figure out what we can do to get them the best result for that. But you don't have to, we don't sell things by the syringe or by the vial.
And you say okay, what's your budget? And let me work with you.
Yeah.
I think that's very hard to find, especially in the kind of injectable world, Yeah.
And I mean, I probably give away a lot more product during the day than I should because I really want to try to make this stuff affordable for girls.
Yeah.
And we see so many younger patients that go to Kent State or go to, these colleges around here, and they want to come in and do the things that they're seeing on Instagram, but
they pull up their Pinterest of the perfect lips.
Yeah, or perfect jawline, and if a girl messages me on Instagram, it's like, well, how much is a jawline? And then they'll send me pictures, and I'll estimate, like that might be 3,000 to 4,000, but we don't need to do it all today.
Right.
These products, they last so long. Like I was saying earlier, I'm the #1 Bellafill injector in the U.S. and Canada, so
Crazy.
I use a lot of.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I just found that out on Thursday.
Really? Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. But Belafill's FDA approved for 5 years, but we see results up to 10. So if I'm telling you, well, we'll probably need like 5 or 6 syringes to get your jawline where you need it to go.
Yeah.
That product has such longevity that you can come in and get one, and then you can come in and get another one down. You know, you don't have to do it all right now.
Right. The building process, I guess.
And girls like that. Like on last weekend when we were here, I saw 2 girls from New Orleans and 2 girls from LA that flew in for me to inject them.
Oh, 100%.
And they can come in like that. And like the 2 girls from New Orleans, they booked follow-ups for me in August.
Right.
Like, and I can see them just once a year because my products are going to last that long.
Right.
You know, and it's not like a traditional Juvederm, you know, situation wrestling where it's just going to, you know, you have to constantly replace it.
Right. You know you're doing well when people are flying in for you, right?
It's crazy. That's why this location has been great because it's easy. They can stay here. I can inject them here. Right. You know, we can. So
are you just doing like stuff at the 9 for just like a specialty, or are you going to continue to do it?
No, yeah, like we signed a lease here for 16 months, so I'm going to be here. Right now we're doing 1 day a week.
Okay.
But yeah, you'd have to book the appointments through our regular office. We do have, like you were asking me earlier, we do have a booking app, but the 9 has to be all booked through phone.
Okay, and then Youthology's in Warren, correct?
Correct, yeah.
You can go visit at either of their locations?
Yeah, and here I'm doing all the injectables. We're not doing any fat harvesting or fat transferring here.
Okay.
You know, the other things like the, you know, lasers and things like that are all in Warren, but here's mostly just me injecting and, you know, microneedling and all those things.
Right. Well, it's nice for people in Cleveland not to have to drive out. This is so much closer. So.
Yeah, my Cleveland population's pretty big, so that's why when the opportunity here popped up, it was like, well, it's kind of a no-brainer. We have so many girls from Westlake and West Side that it's easier for them to just come downtown now.
Right, and we have talked about this so much, but like Cleveland is evolving into, like, I feel like it's always like 5 years behind or something. So I feel like slowly it will. 10 years behind.
Yeah.
I feel like slowly.
But yeah, like, so I keep trying to push the envelope a little bit to where I'll bring techniques and products and results around here that, yeah, maybe just haven't hit the Midwest yet, because it seems like with aesthetics, at least with the medical aesthetics, you know, things get big in the Southwest, like San Diego, Arizona. LA,
oh yeah.
And even over in like the UK, and then it comes here.
Right.
Which is kind of like what you were asking about earlier with hip dips and.
I know, like slowly, we're bringing the trends.
Yeah, that's so big right now. Like the hip dip correction, the BBL is non-surgical because you can come in and we can do all those injections, and then you can go to dinner with your friends or go to work and go work out. Like there's literally no downtime with these things. So.
Right, and I feel like that's a big thing. Like people want to do stuff for themselves but can't take off of work or something like that.
Yeah.
So all this makes it affordable, easier, like
the
recovery periods.
Yeah, for sure, and I can't stress enough how nobody really wants to look different like when they go to work tomorrow.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think it's something like I didn't say anything when I like first started doing anything, or I'd be nervous to say like, oh, I want to do like facial contouring and stuff like that. And now I'm like, okay, like it's like enhancing your natural, if that's what I'm into.
Yeah.
But then nobody says anything the next day because you don't look like a crazy person. You know what I mean? Like you're not supposed to come and look crazy. Like I said,
I do a lot of the liquid rhinoplasties, and that's the one procedure where at least once a week a girl will start crying after, you know, we contour their nose to where it looks like normal.
Really?
And I saw a girl yesterday for a touch-up, and she said it's so funny that I did her nose. She had like a, you know, down her nose with a hump, and we corrected that. And she went to Thanksgiving at her parents' house, and her mom was sitting there talking to her, and her mom's like, you don't need to get a nose job. Your nose doesn't even look bad. And it's funny, she's like, my mom didn't even notice that.
Oh, really?
You know, she noticed, but she didn't even bring up that, oh, did you have a surgery or did you have any injectables? Like, she just thought that was her daughter with, you know, so.
Right, like, and that's your mom, like, that notices everything about you.
And so I told her, I'm like, that's the biggest win. Like, we injected you, your parents didn't even notice you got injected, but they noticed that you know, like, you look better or a better version or whatever. So I thought that was cool. So everything is evolving. All right, so today I'm going to get a procedure done, and I'm going to do facial contouring. Right. So. Yeah, so the way I have Youthology's appointment set up is everything is called a facial contouring appointment. Like, I don't like my patients at home trying to figure out what type of appointment they have to book. It's just easy. Like you either book a facial contouring appointment with me or you book a customized skin treatment with one of my estheticians, and then we'll figure out what you need.
Right, everyone's so different, so.
Yeah. So with you today, we're gonna be using Bellafill on you, which is one of those collagen-based biostimulators. I'm gonna use a micro cannula to put it in your skin.
Okay.
So that's a needle without a tip. So what's great about using a micro cannula is I can essentially poke your face with a needle in 3 or 4 or 5 places and reach all of your face. So so it's better than a needle in the sense that we'll be working under your skin. It's painless. You don't need to numb up your face or anything like that.
God, really? That's so scary.
And then the way that I'm gonna put it in there, you don't have to, there's no restrictions. You can go for a run if you wanted to after you leave here.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about massaging or sleeping funny or standing upright or,
Right.
Okay, so it's cool. So we'll do a little bit in your cheeks, a little bit on your jaw, a little chin.
Deal.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get to injecting. I was definitely nervous about the pain. I thought this was gonna hurt really bad, but it honestly was super painless. Literally, like he said, he could get to everything with making 5 different needle pokes, which was like nothing for pretty much contouring your whole cheekbone and jawline. So don't be scared and go get your jaw snatched, girls. Okay, so if anyone didn't know, I'm now a batter bitch. So don't come at me with this jawline or these cheekbones. But I just want to say thank you to Jason for filming this video with me today, and everybody go follow Youthology on Instagram and go book your appointments to be the baddest bitch that you can be.